Hey everybody, Jake here with a quick maintenance video. Got an old wheel here. It's just been on my shelf for a number of years. Generic Cleveland wheel here. Might even be a magnesium wheel. But what I want to talk about today is why sometimes used parts, especially things like wheels, are not worth it in my opinion. So here's this wheel, you know, the kind of thing that you probably find on eBay, Facebook, you know. Look, it's got a little bit of corrosion there. Doesn't look too bad. You could probably clean this up and make it work. That's what we did with this wheel. This wheel we cleaned up. We had it painted, and the reason we rejected this wheel was actually the guy that painted it. First of all, it's powder coated, which you shouldn't use powder coat. Powder coat hides cracks and imperfections and whatnot. But this went to the powder coat guy. The powder coat guy was told, don't paint inside the races for the bearing. And he did, and then he ground off the paint, so then the race didn't fit. And so the wheel was rejected for that. But it's got a fresh, pretty coat of paint here. But this was done 5, 6, 7 years ago. And was just cleaning up and pulled it out and thought, hey, take a look at this thing and maybe come up with something to do with it. But I noticed something interesting on here. This was not there. Look at that. Coming up through the paint. Corrosion. And likely similar to this wheel here. That's old corrosion that was mostly underneath the surface material that's now worked its way out. And if this wheel had been put back into service with this coat of paint, this is a nose wheel off of a T34. You know, a nose tire doesn't wear out that quickly, especially in this airplane. Lives in a hangar all the time. I bet that tire would look brand new on there still. And who takes the tire off to inspect the wheel? That never happens. So this could be hiding underneath the tire on this airplane right now. So I'm going to take a file to it and dig on this, and let's see what this looks like. All right, I did about 15 seconds worth of rubbing on this, and I'm not going to go too far because, hey, this isn't on my calendar for the day to waste time doing this, but you can kind of see the pitting there. There's a pit, and there's a pit. It's hard to see up close, but ultimately there's some intergranular corrosion right in there. Right in there you can see the pit. I'm sure if I really wanted to inspect this, I would use a chemical stripper and take the paint off, and rather than file out the metal. But you know, these are all pretty even passes with a pretty coarse file. You can see the high spots and low spots of the corrosion that's coming up. So, you know, although this wheel looked great when it was done, you know, at the end of the day, it was a old, high-time used part, much like this wheel. And do you want that kind of stuff on your airplane? Kind of for shits and grins, I went on eBay, and this wheel here, this wheel currently is $1,200 to $1,300 new. On eBay, it seemed from $400 up to $600 in various conditions. But even $400 for this thing, it's just going to end up just like this. You know, with the time and effort you put into cleaning it, having it painted and all that. You know, do you want this instead of a new part? You can even see on this one, you can see this pitting. I think this is just a bad paint, but no particular point to make today other than here's a used wheel that if you needed one, might you do this rather than new. look, if you're trying to make this wheel work for 6 months, a year to get you by, but frequently I see guys say, oh yeah, I just need it for a year. And 5 years later, you're still running the old part. But here's something I noticed today. This is a part I was kind of getting prepared to put available for sale on my used parts website, and I might still do that, but man, I don't know if I'd want to, you know, buy that, or certainly I don't know if I'd want to install this wheel onto somebody's airplane. So hope this was a little enlightening, and y'all learned something. But sometimes used parts need to remain on the shelf, and it's worth buying the new part. So thanks for watching.